Okay, our next video, 1920s, the presidential politics of the time. Let's talk about that. Okay, why does it matter though? Okay, oh, wrong way. Sorry about that. Let me go back this way. Why does it matter? Okay, so prosperity was the theme of the 1920s. And you get a national policy that favors business. You have farmers who are going through an economic depression. And even though that's happening, a lot of people are still optimistic about the economy. The middle class is buying everything on credit to get a lot of new convenience products available. And one of the most popular purchases of that time was the automobile, which would end up having a major impact on American lives, as we know today. Impact today, important elements of the American life were first seen at this time. Okay, so the automobile, well, excuse me, I can't talk, I'm crazy. The automobile remains central to American transportation, and credit becomes the standard means for making purchases at this time. Okay, you can't talk about the 1920s unless you talk about Warren Harding, so here we go. The Harding administration in 1920. Warren G. Harding ran for president. Most Americans at the time were wanting a return to simpler times. They've gone through all these progressive upheavals with Wilson and Roosevelt, and to some extent Taft. They're ready to go back to what they, something different. He called his campaign a slogan of a return to normalcy, or a normal life after World War I. This made him very popular, and he ended up winning the presidency. Harding made a few distinguished appointments to the cabinet, but most appointments were given to his friend. Good old boys network. Isn't that nice? And his old poker-playing friends became known as the Ohio Gang. All right, now, some members used their government positions under the Harding administration to sell jobs, pardons, and immunity from prosecution. And before most of these scandals became public knowledge, Harding ends up falling ill, and he dies in 1923. Okay, Harding's Secretary of Interior will come to represent this his scandal-laden administration. He had Albert B. Fall, who was the Secretary of Interior, secretly allowed private interests to lease lands containing U.S. Navy oil reserves at the Teapot Dome in Wyoming. He ended up receiving the total bribes totaling over $300,000 in order to do this. Teapot Dome scandal ended with Fall being the first cabinet officer in history to be sent to prison. Okay. Another Harding administration scandal involved the Attorney General, Harry Daugherty. He refused to turn over files and bank records for a German-owned American company. Bribe money ended up in a bank account controlled by Daugherty. Uh-oh. Not good. So he refused to testify under oath, claiming immunity or freedom from prosecution on the grounds that he had confidential dealings with the president. The new president, Calvin Coolidge, demanded Daugherty's resignation because of all this shenanigans that were going on. All right, so the Coolidge administration. So Vice President Calvin Coolidge became president after Harding's death. Coolidge ended up distancing himself from the Harding administration, which was probably a pretty good idea considering the fact that it was scandal-laden. His focus was on the prosperity through business leadership with little government intervention. He ends up easily winning the Republican Party's nomination for president in 1924. And let's see here. What else did he do? Oh, the Democratic Party's candidate was John W. Davis at the time in 1924. Those not wanting to choose between the Republican and Democratic parties formed a new progressive party with Robert M. La Follette as their candidate. Coolidge then won the 1924 election with more than half the popular vote. Coolidge promised to give the United States the normalcy that Harding had not with all his scandals that he had. All right, hold on one second. All right, that concludes our presidential politics at the time during the 1920s there, okay? You'll have a short Edmodo quiz. I believe it's 2 questions long, so there you go. Nice, easy quiz. Hopefully it'll be an easy 2 points. All right, thank you.